Well, the first big trade chip of the NBA trade season has just happened as Trae Young has officially been traded to the Washington Wizards. We're going to break down what the trade looks like, all that and more, right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And it has now been made official. Trae Young has officially been traded from the Atlanta Hawks to the Washington Wizards. This is a rare case in which the rumor deal is basically exactly what happens. It doesn't always happen. Four-time All-Star Trae Young has officially been traded to the Washington Wizards. He's been traded for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert going to Atlanta. No picks exchange hands in this at all, as is being reported right now. But it's been official that, it's been known for a while now that Trae Young was not part of the long-term plans of the Atlanta Hawks. They've had a better record with him being off the court than on the court for them for the last 3 years. So this was a move that always seemed like it was going to be happening soon. It made sense. Once they had the young core that they had, moving Trae Young made the most sense. Now, for what it's worth, right? You get in this case that no draft picks are involved in this at all. Not a single draft pick being involved in this is actually pretty huge. It does say and talk about the lack of value that Trae Young had around the league, right? And the fact that, the Hawks didn't get some haul back for Trae Young at all. But what they get on their roster is even more important than that. They gain clarity. And that's what they were hoping for in this, is the clarity and the direction of this roster. And of course, you're getting CJ McCollum back. You're getting Corey Kispert back as well. But you don't get any long-term bad salary back in a case like that, which is really good for the Atlanta Hawks because they can turn around and use that money that Trae Young could have opted into. They could turn around and use that to maybe go out and get some more supplemental pieces around these young players that they have. CJ McCollum's contract is up at the end of the season. So now the Atlanta Hawks are armed with expiring contracts of $30 million for Kristaps Porzingis, $30 million for CJ McCollum as well, which makes them a team that can actually be a spender now in the offseason as well. And keep in mind, they also are open to trading Zachary Reese-Share, as some reports are, if it comes for a larger trade down the road. So now they are set up to maybe make a larger move down the road if needed. They do have Corey Kispert as well, who's 26 years old. He does have 3 years left on his deal. And it's actually a descending contract. It's $3.9 million this year and next year. And then the last year of the deal is $13 million as well. So, they have that little bit of flexibility. This move now gives the Atlanta Hawks $83 million beneath the first tax apron in the offseason next year. That is a huge amount of money. And keep in mind, that's with a lot of their core already locked in. Jalen Johnson, locked in. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, locked in. Onyeka, locked in. Corey Kispert, if you look at him, is that he's locked in. Zachary Reese-Share is on his rookie scale deal. Dyson Daniels is in the first year, or his extension hasn't even kicked in yet. He has 4 years after this year that's there. Asa Newell is a young player for them that's on a rookie scale deal as well. So you're now having an Atlanta Hawks team that kept the picks, right? Which is a good thing. They kept all their own picks in this. And keep in mind, a big thing in this as well is that they have New Orleans pick next year as well as their own. So this Atlanta Hawks team is now equipped with 2 picks in the 2026 draft. They have $83 million beneath the first tax apron in the next offseason that they can continue to add to this team. So now you get a rest of the season look at your young core that was playing pretty good, that was above 500 before Trae Young came back. You get to see where they finish, and you get to honestly review and evaluate this roster, and then you get to make a decision next offseason on how to supplement. You can take that pick from New Orleans if you want a more proven player and move it. And with the way the New Orleans is looking, that's going to be a top 10 pick for sure, maybe even top 5 to top 8. So you can take that pick. You can then turn around, either draft amazing talent to add to your young core in this one, or you can maybe move it and try to get a veteran piece in here with now you having the expiring money to do it as well. So the Atlanta Hawks make this masterfully. The amount of cap space that they have, the clarity that they now have with the young pieces on this roster that have already shown a lot for them. You've cleared the big salary that you have. That was the only contract that they had on the roster above $20 million. Now, Dyson Daniels is going to be above $20 million next year. Oh, Jalen Johnson as well. He's making $30 million also. But everything else is expiring. Kristaps expiring, CJ McCollum expiring. Like, so this gains so much clarity as far as how you maneuver now for the Atlanta Hawks, that this is just smart. This is one of the smartest moves that the Atlanta Hawks made. For the Wizards side of this, again, they don't get any assets, so now you get to look at Trae Young. You can either flip him again if he does opt in. You could try to flip him in the offseason, gain some more assets back. But they basically now, in a series of moves, you use Jordan Poole to turn that into CJ McCollum. You then use CJ McCollum to turn into Trae Young. They basically turned, in a long-term way, Jordan Poole into Trae Young. I don't know what that means for the Washington Wizards roster. This is a team that's been scrappy for the entirety of this year. We'll see how Trae Young and how motivated he is, because he could be on the move. The question now becomes about, will Trae Young opt out in this contract in the offseason, and then will he become an unrestricted free agent rather than stick with that? Now, that's going to be a risk for him, especially with no team really wanting to trade for him on that contract. But, we'll see what happens there. And it's a lot of questions still left up in the air about this. But as it stands right now, we'll see what happens. Trae Young's probably going to pick up his player option unless he just really feels like he does not want to be in Washington. But for what it's worth, Washington's front office has been cooking. They've been making some really smart decisions. They've been really smart about how they want to balance and build this roster out. And I got to continue to give them credit for that, because that's not easy to do, to add clarity. It's not easy to move on from a player that's been a 4-time All-Star and just say, hey, listen, we don't even want a haul back or anything. We're doing this because this is just the best decision for the place that our roster is in. It's best not to have Trae Young here, and it's best to let these young guys flourish without Trae Young. And that's what it comes down to. And so we'll see what's going to happen with that. We'll see what the future does hold. But the Wizards still have a bright future. I like a lot of these young pieces with the Washington Wizards, and I think those guys are going to continue to develop. You just got to hope that Trae doesn't kind of get in the way, that with him being here, maybe a season and a half, depending on what he picks up in the long term. But overall, the first big trade chip has officially fallen in the NBA, and that is Trae Young is on his way now to going to the Washington Wizards, and now the Atlanta Hawks have their clarity on the roster, which they have been needing for a while now. It's been evident. It's been one of those things that we've seen for a while, and we knew that needed to come down, and it now has officially happened. So Trae Young is a Washington Wizard. CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert on their way to the Atlanta Hawks, and to see the Atlanta Hawks now get back on their path where they look like a team that was going to contend for maybe a playoff spot at some point this season. So we'll see if they can get back on that path and where that lays them out. But that's it. This is breaking news episode here on NBA Central. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow us at NBA. Oh, first, like and subscribe to the channel if you're not liking and subscribe. We do things. When things drop, we drop. It's simple like that. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and a voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything basketball related. I'll catch you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.